La Academia presenta el alfabeto español. In this tutorial, you will learn how to spell in Spanish. Yes, in only 20 minutes. One of the reasons is because Spanish is much easier than English in phonetics. We tend to write as we read and the opposite. So, for instance, we only have 5 vowels. I know what would you say, that you also have 5 vowels, yeah? But you pronounce them in 20 different ways, while we only have 5. So, are you ready to start? ¿Listos? Allí vamos. A. A is similar to I know the answer. It's like your A, but a bit more middle, like in araña, that is spider. B. B is pronounced like in English, B. The only thing to take into account is that in Spanish we have 2 letters, B and V, but both are pronounced B. That is the reason why many Spanish speakers commit mistakes when writing down the letters. Like for instance, beso, kiss. C. This is quite a distinctive sound in Spanish. Actually, when asked foreign speakers how Spanish sounds to them, they will say that it's like fe, 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 fe. That is because of the th sound. Letter C can be pronounced like fe when followed by e and e, like in cena. In that way, it's like theater, or like ca when followed by a, o, and u, like casa, home. Mi casa es tu casa. Che. Che is no longer recognized like a letter by the RAE. RAE is the Real Academia de la Lengua, that is the Royal Language Academy that regulates Spanish language. Che is quite sharp. We don't have sh sound except in some varieties of Spanish, but in standard we only have che, like in chorizo. You call it a sausage, but in Spain we don't consider it a sausage because for us sausages are hot. D. D is very similar to English, except that D in English is pronounced pressing the tip of your tongue against your teeth, while in Spanish we put the tip of the tongue behind the alveolar ridge. What is the alveolar ridge? You may be wondering. The alveolar ridge is the little mountain we have behind our teeth. So a word like dentista, you will say dentist. Can you notice the difference? E. E, like the rest of the vowels, are very similar to English but shorter. So, elefante, elephant. F, exactly the same as English, like in the word fiesta, party. G can be a little bit tricky. G is a sound that you don't have in English. The good news is that in the southern varieties, like for instance Andalusia, where I'm from, we don't pronounce G, we say he. That is a very soft aspirate H. For instance, the standard will say general, but we say general. This sort of sound is found when we have G and E or E. If we want the soft variety, like in gato, that is cat, then we need G and A, O, But what happens if we need the soft variety with E and E? Very simple. Like in the case of Q, that is Q, that we will see later on, we put a silent U. That is, that U is not pronounced. They are just to indicate us that we need to pronounce the sound softer, like in guitarra or guerra, that is guitar or war. H. H is very, very easy because it's silent. Shh. No sound produced. You will say hotel, but we say hotel. E. Once again, as English, but shorter. Actually, it's a bit challenging for Spanish speakers because many of us, and I include myself, cannot distinguish between long and short varieties, and that can lead to misunderstandings, some of them quite embarrassing. For instance, we have here igloo, that is igloo in Spanish. J. J is like G, that is strong sound, but once again you can pronounce it like aspirate H, like jamón, jamón, that is ham. It has the same problem that B and V. G and J can be misunderstood in spelling because they are pronounced the same, but there are two ways of being written. K. K is exactly the same as English. Actually, K is kind of funny because every time we see a word with this letter on it, we know it doesn't belong to Spanish. It's not a Spanish origin. It comes from abroad, like koala. Koala, as you know, is Australian. L. L is very similar to English. The only difference is that you pronounce it backwards. Your tongue goes backwards, like in lemon. Can you feel it? But in Spanish, we say limón. Again, tip of the tongue on the alveolar ridge, the little mountain behind your teeth. A tip I can give you is don't be too shy when you are practicing pronunciation. Try to be as exaggerated as you can so you feel the movement of your tongue towards the teeth of the alveolar ridge or the position that your lips get, because that way you are learning. Edge. Once again, we find with a pseudo letter, that is a letter that is not considered such by the Real Academia. But I think it's relevant that we learn about it. It's pronounced Y plus vowel, like in llave, key, or my hometown, Sevilla. M, exactly the same as in English, like mama, that is mommy. N, N, again, exactly the same. No bother with that one. Noche, night. Buenas noches, good night. Ñ, this is my favorite letter because this is very special for Spanish speakers. I mean, nobody else has this ñ. And ñ is easy to pronounce because it's like the cluster NG, like in lasagna, or NY and vowel, or NI and vowel, like in canyon. That is España, or mañana. O. O, once again, same but shorter, like ojo. I. P. Same as in English, but without the plosion. P is more plosive than in Spanish. In Spanish, it's softer. So, like papa, that is daddy. Ku. Ku is exactly the same as your ku in English. We only use it with e and i. That is, like words like queso or quiero. Queso means cheese. Quiero is I want or I love. The quiero means I love you. R. That is a funny noise. We have two ways of pronouncing it. The soft R or the strong R. The strong R is found at the beginning of the word or in the middle, like perro, that is in between vowels. Don't get too obsessed about this. It's a difficult sound unless you are from Scotland. Then you're okay with it. If you notice, you put the tip of your tongue on the alveolar ridge and press with quite a lot of force. So when the air comes through, it does a roll sound. There are quite a lot of tongue twisters that you can find, for instance, on the website. I have the perro de San Roque, and it's very useful. Children in Spain, when they are little, struggle also with R sound. It requires practice. Ere is the soft counterpart. You can find it in between words or at the end. If you find it in between words with two R's, then you need to pronounce it strong. For instance, pera. Pera means pear. S. S is pronounced exactly the same as in English, except that we don't have the liquid variety. Like, for instance, you say spaghetti, we need an E before the S. That is spaghetti. A good example is siesta. I don't have to translate, I guess. T. T is like what we saw with de. In English, they are pronounced with the tongue against the teeth, but in Spanish, it's with the tongue against the alveolar ridge. You will say today, we say tarde. Can you notice the difference? Tarde means either late or afternoon. Buenas tardes, good afternoon. U. U, once again, exactly the same as in English, but shorter. Unión, union. V. We talked about V before. It's pronounced like B. So you will say in English Victoria, but we say Victoria. Can you notice the difference? W. W is like K, a letter that doesn't belong to the Spanish system. I mean, it came from abroad. This one, it came mainly from English. There are two ways of pronouncing it. One is the English way, like water polo, that is water polo, or like mbe, in water, that is a toilet, a water closet. X. X can be pronounced in two different ways, depending on the position. It's pronounced like KS, like X, followed by a consonant, like in extra, and like an S if it's followed by a vowel, like auxilio, help. Y also can be pronounced in two ways. If we have Y and a vowel, then it acts like a consonant, like it's like J that we saw before. So that sound yate, yacht. And it will behave like a vowel, like E, if it goes at the end of the word. For instance, like I, there is, there are. And last but not least, we have theta. Theta is pronounced like the, except that theta is only used with a, o, and u. That is, like in zapato, shoe. The reason why I bet you can guess is because for E and E we have the. And this is the theory. That is it. Not too long. Now let's go and do some practice. And now, practiquemos. Let's practice. First one. H, O, L, A. Shall I repeat? H, O, L, A. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Hello, how are you? Next one. M, A, Ñ, A, N, A. Otra vez. Again. M, A, Ñ, A, N, A. ¿Listos? Are you ready? Mañana. Okay, this one is going to be a bit more difficult. C, E, R, A, D, U, R, A. Yeah, I know. But if you can spell this, you can spell most anything. Again. C, E, R, A, D, U, R, A. You know. Cerradura. Cerradura means a lock. Much easier in English. Okay, and the last one. E, S, P, A, Ñ, A. Otra vez. Once again. E, S, P, A, Ñ, A. And this is my beloved country, España. Did you achieve it? Can you spell in Spanish? I really hope so. So, it's not a bad beginning, I think. So, see you soon. Nos vemos pronto. Hasta luego.